Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
Peace and greetings, peoples. Welcome to the Network of Awareness podcast radio show. This is Or the Informationalist, owner and founder of the Network of Awareness, and we got a great show today, peoples. Welcome to November 1st. Very much looking forward to this month, towards the end of 2022. And people, what a great show we have today, because this is Narcissism series, Part 7 of the volume of the Narcissism series. And the title for today's episode, which is episode 91 of season 4, this is The Premeditated Backstabber. And boy, if you are in a relationship with a narc, or in a relationship with a narc, or even possibly dating and getting to know a narc, or may not know that you're dealing with a narc, or with a narc, or was with a narc, then this is an episode you definitely want to listen to, because I'm going to dig deep into the narcissist in the relationship and how they are the premeditated backstabber. And we're also going to just touch on some current news stories that came out, like, for example, one of the Migos MCs, or should I call him rapper, one of them died from out in Houston, Texas, or something like that. We'll get into that real quick. And doesn't surprise me, right? Because as many of you know, that these so-called celebrities that are in the music industry, there's always death that follows the fame and the fortune. And why? It's because they play a dirty game with Satan. They play a dirty game with the dark forces that support that benevolent energy that does exist. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to get into episode 91 of season 4, The Premeditated Backstabber. Let's get it.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
The informationalist.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Peace, love, and light, peoples. To all my brothers and sisters that got the pure intentions, doing their best with what they have and with the gifts they've been given to walk a righteous walk. And welcome to Tightrope Tuesday on November 1st. Now, I could tell you from personal experience for this past month, I don't know about you people, but I do understand, and I talk a lot about how the vibration and the speed of which time, which is the illusion, is moving faster, and that there's a higher frequency of vibration raising for things to move forward in a faster pace. But I have to tell you that this whole year has been pretty fast, but I got to say that the month of October, and I don't know if it's because I made some major changes in completely separating myself from the narc completely, that I was in a relationship with, but also just because of how things have transpired since I made that move for this past year. And for some reason, the month of October went by extremely slow. I think it's the slowest month, as far as from my personal experience, that I had to endure as far as time, where it's like, damn, this month felt like it lasted very long. It's not something that I breezed through. like I did with some other months throughout the years, where it's just, damn, where did time go? You know, it just here one day and gone the next. But for some reason, with the month of October, it felt like the month of October was dragging. But also, what I wanted to mention is that Halloween is over, and all praise to the Most High that that's over with, because I'm really tired of seeing all of the hot Halloween paraphernalia that's out here, and also what that represents. So I'm glad that that's over and done with, even though in pagan ritual the celebration does continue. But I'm glad that at least commercially it's over. And this is the time of year, people, where we really got to buckle up spiritually, because if you're a person like myself that doesn't practice these holidays, like Thanksgiving, like a Christmas, then it can be somewhat challenging. But with time, it gets easier. That's what I can honestly say. Something to remember is that with that time, you could be doing so much more important things with what you got going on, and serving your purpose to the Most High, being the best version of yourself you can be. And this time can get somewhat challenging from family as well. Just keep that in mind. But today's show is going to dig into the narcissism series again. And like I had mentioned in the intro, is that this thing with the Migos. Let's talk about that briefly, because this type of news, I mean, it is what it is. And it says, oh, this is another article, but this is haunting. It says, haunting last pictures show Migos rapper take off minutes before his death. And it says that it shared chilling picture minutes before he was killed in Houston. The Migos rapper posted a snap, stood outside the venue where he was shot dead at on his Instagram story moments before his death. It was posted alongside the lyrics and soundtrack to Stop Breathing by Playboi Carti in what appears to be a haunting coincidence. He later died at the age of 28 after being gunned down in Texas City. Now, that's a very significant number in Gematria. Now, I don't know the specifics of that number, people, that I can go in depth in it, but there's plenty of other brothers and sisters that have broken down Gematria, the whole entire number system and how it all works with Kabbalah and this whole dark Luciferian culture, people, because this is a culture. This is a culture. This is a way of life. This is a veneration of Satan. And these people are engaged in this. This is why they get to be at the level that they're at when it comes to notoriety. Because you got to pay, listen, if you're going to be famous and you're going to be all over the place, people, just understand that you're going to have to pay your dues. The dark Lord Master Satan. You know what I mean? That's how they refer to him. He is their God. So when they give praise to God, understand that that's not the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Elohim, that they are praising. They are giving praise to the dark one, to the Prince of the Air. It's no coincidence that the Prince of the Air controls the air, all the airwaves. So now understand that there is no such thing as coincidence, right? But you notice how in these articles they say coincidence, because there is no coincidence, but they have to put it this way. And the fact of the matter is that Stop Breathing is exactly what happened, right? They murdered him. This is an obvious sacrifice, people, but this goes on over and over again. So here's just another example of another execution/ritual blood sacrifice from a group that has been overly blatant in their worship of Satan. Okay, so this is not something that surprises me, but I figure I bring it up just to educate those that may not know, especially those younger people that listen to my show and are considering going into the music industry. If you are, stay independent. Stay independent. But if you're thirsty for fame, this is the price that you have to pay. And you're going to pay it in a lot of other vile ways. I mean, death is probably one of the best things that can happen to you when it comes to being part of this. a part of these types of groups of people. Just keep that in mind. And that's it. Like, I don't, there's other things that are going on where Kanye West got into an argument over his son's soccer game, which I thought is funny because now every little thing that they do, especially with Kim Kardashian, everything that they do together, which supposedly Kim wasn't talking to him in the article, but everything they do is now going to get that popularity, that notoriety, that talk, you know? And this is what I talked about, that controlled opposition. There's controlled opposition within controlled opposition. And one of the controlled oppositions within is the relationship dynamic with Kim and Kanye and how it seems to be tumultuous right now because of his comments, because of the attention he's getting, and she wants no part of it. So, like I said, give it time, people, and you're going to see where it goes. Now, let's talk about the topic at hand, because a lot of things are being revealed to me that the Most High is revealing to me through my journey of not being in a narcissistic relationship no more, which, let's call it what it is, people. When we are in narcissistic relationships, our relationships are not even really real relationships. The relationships that we're in is really just a lie. It's not a functioning relationship. It's more of a dysfunctional relationship. But a relationship it is, but not the relationship that normal people have in day-to-day life. Whenever somebody's with a narcissist, their relationship is something else. What that is the best way I can describe it, a lie. It's an illusion. It's a stage for a lot of acting and a lot of pretending. You're not pretending. You're like Truman in the Truman Show. You really think you're living a life. You really think that everything you're experiencing is really what you're experiencing. But in reality, you're just on a stage for the narcissistic abuser to basically pull the strings and put the spotlight where the spotlight needs to be at any given time. And we're going to talk about that because I titled it The Premeditated Backstabber for many reasons. Because when it comes to narcissists, and I'm just going to call it what it is, because this goes for all my men and women that are listening to the show. This can go either way, right? Because the narcissist comes in female form and in male form, all right? Now, this show is more going to be centralized around narcissism, but also the good person. Who is the good person? You, the one that was in the relationship, okay? 10 times out of 10, you're the person that's a good person. You're the person that we're not perfect. Empathetic people are not perfect, but usually we're good people. And that's the reason why we want to understand these things better, because you want to understand why this thing was so toxic. And then the further you investigate, but really for just your own personal self-assessment of who you are, because the reality is there's nothing wrong with you. That's the whole purpose of why I do the narcissism series, is not just to make people aware of these types of people and to be very cautious and pretty much distance yourself from these people, or be able to catch them and know who they are so you can distance or never even deal with them in the first place. But it's also to let all of the people that have gone through this form of abuse and torture and psychological warfare to understand that there's nothing wrong with them. Because when you come out of a relationship like this, not everybody is as fortunate as I have been in making the decision. Because according to the professionals, people like myself, and there's only a few of us, unfortunately, and I hope that with shows like this one and what many other brothers and sisters are doing on YouTube and other platforms and educating people about this, is that there's going to be more of a statistical increase of people like myself and others that leave the narcissist. But this is for both those people, but the more majority are those that actually stay and either stay in that corrupted environment or they wind up getting dumped by the narc, which most of the time that's what happens, is the narcissist will eventually dump the person that they are in a relationship with for many reasons. But mostly it's to get another narcissistic supply when the one that they have with you feels like it serves no more of a purpose for them. In my instance, I was a little fortunate because the narc wanted me to be with them, but I decided to go because I loved myself and I respect myself more than I respected them and loved them. But it took me a little bit of time, not much. And like many of you have heard my other series, if you haven't, reason being is because my relationship was more long distance. So I didn't build that quality time in a relationship consistently for a long period of time to be dug into something like that. And I could tell you that chances are that probably wouldn't happen with this narc because I would have caught their bullshit a long time ago, even though I did catch it. And we're going to talk about that because I'm going to tell you some of the things that when you pay notice to this, that it's very important to listen to the spirit, listen to the higher self. Don't listen to the cardinal self or don't listen to the conditioned mind, meaning that the conditioned mind being the mind that they manipulated you into believing who they are. So once they start showing you signs of something else, it's time to put a stop to it. And the reality is that because they show us such a great first impression for a long time, they give you sessions of first impressions. That's another good title, Sessions of First Impressions, but that's what they're doing. And you get so caught up in that because those first impressions are wonderful. Those sessions are amazing. Those sessions are very delightful, very joyous, and they can have a significant impact on your spirit and your mind to where you fully feel like this is something that can be meaningful. And they know that. They know that what they're doing. See, because when they're using their empathy is to serve a purpose. There's a bottom line to it. There's a goal attached to that empathy, nothing else. It's not because they really feel that way. It's they can make themselves feel that way because they know between right and wrong, but their wrong is right to them. And they look at you as prey. They look at you like you're a punk, you're a sucker, you're a dummy, and that you should be taken advantage of because you are so nice. But what I'm also going to discuss is how even in that toxic behavior, which they have no empathy in performing and executing, there is something that's going to happen to these people to where they're going to know that that supply, that person, which is you, that they had, for them to ever get that again is damn near impossible. And if they do somewhat get it, it ain't going to last long. And see, this is what a lot of the professionals that discuss this and are specializing in this don't talk about is the spiritual aspect to this all. Because these people get what they deserve in the long run. Karma will smack them in the face. And it's not so much something that you should look forward to as the person that's been abused, but just understand that their karma is going to pay them and kick them in the ass in ways that you will never imagine. But it's not our job as the good person that got taken advantage of to worry about that. Because what's more important is like, hey, there's somebody else that's way more deserving of our energy than this narcissistic person we gave it to. And once you figure that out, once you realize how wonderful you really are, things look better and better. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to hop into a relationship right away or anything like that. Matter of fact, you shouldn't. It just means that you should know that you are the shit, pretty much, because you don't have nothing to regret that you did wrong. You just dealt with somebody that you wasn't aware of at the time. And I can tell you that even though I studied narcissism, I studied it more with people of authority on my show. People like, Trump. Like, I focused on that type of narcissistic behavior. But I never actually been with a narc until my past relationship. And I could tell you that, boy, it's amazing. It's amazing how these people can literally pursue you in a way to where from the first, when they first start talking to you, they're already premeditating how they're going to stab you in the back. They're already they already got things in motion. They already have things established in how to fuck you up. And I have to say it that way because it's literally like that, you know? I got the explicit button on today because this is what they do. And it could come, like we could talk about their childhood and a bunch, but at the end of the day, regardless of whatever the experience, that doesn't give them a right to be this way. But it is a personality disorder. It is a psychological dysfunction. And with my experience, when it comes to a malignant narcissist, they actually have traits of a psychopath slash sociopath, which the person that I was in this lie with of a relationship was just like that. So let's talk about that, people, when it comes to the premeditated backstabber. I'll tell you a little, kind of give you some insight into what I experienced so you can understand how this all works. Because through my research and through my study and self-examination and looking, you know, you kind of play the movie back. You rewind it and watch it over again. But you're watching the movie now, not for the purpose of entertainment. You're literally looking with your spiritual eyes to see all the deception. And you also see how you dealt with it, which I could tell you that you always deal with it the wrong way, but there is always something pulling you, deal with it the right way. But because we are nice people, right? We're the nice guy, we're the nice girl, nice woman, the nice man. We got a good heart, right? You hear people say, oh, you got a good heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, and these are the types of people that's like a golden egg for the narc. It's like the unicorn, they call it. You become their unicorn because you become their enabler to tolerate all of their nastiness, all of their bullshit, all of their lies, and you tolerate it and you accept it. And it's almost like you don't even find fault in what they're doing. You just allow them to do what they're doing. And I could tell you that I did this a lot in my relationship with the narc. A lot. I did it a lot, which is very uncharacteristic of me. But at the same time, I've changed because I used to be very rigid and cold, you know, and there is still parts of me that's like that. But in my older age, I've become, you know, the Most High has revealed to me that it's time to get back to that child before the trauma, before getting set up to get killed and all that stuff, which really changed my perspective on life, really changed the energy that I put out and the way I dealt with people. But because we are enablers, the real nice guy, you know what our big problem, and the nice woman or the nice girl, our biggest problem, people, is that because we're so nice and empathetic to these people, we wind up having no boundaries. So if there's anything to gain, the most important thing for if you are considered that nice guy or girl is you better start learning how to set boundaries from here on out or whenever you leave this relationship. Or if you haven't gotten into a relationship with a narc and you're dating, start learning how to set boundaries before you even move any forward with getting to know other people. Because that is the biggest, most significant hindrance to somebody like a good person in a relationship, the nice guy and the nice girl. Make a note of that, people. You have to set boundaries. It's something that I'm doing. And it's something that I'm getting better and better at. And I'm so grateful for that because it's going to make me so much a better human being to serve the Most High because of that. But also, keep in mind this, that when you're dealing with a narc, they don't care. Their only goal is that they are going to get what they can. And that's it. It's all about them. And you really have to understand that for what it is, because once you do, it makes you, it takes a weight off your shoulders to be like, wait a second. And I'm going to just put it in layman terms. You're like, this person's just a piece of shit. And that's who they are. It's not, there's anything wrong with you. You pursued this with all your heart. You pursued this with the intentions. I'm building something meaningful and everlasting. Because I could tell you that was my intentions from the jump. It was like, I'm going to get with this woman and this is going to be my wife. And we're going to build a beautiful life together. Like we're going to make something out of the rest of the years that we have left. At least that's what I thought, right? But that's what my intentions were. And I was willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that that gets fulfilled on my part. But the reality is that's not what this, premeditated backstabber had in mind. And I'm going to tell you something. What's interesting about my situation for the educational purpose of narcissism, right? For those that are listening, is that in my situation, my narc would call me for advice. My narc, came onto my show to provide education about the science appliance. I had a very meaningful relationship with this narc at that point because I wasn't pursuing them in a relationship. But you see, the constant support and the constant, whatever you want to call it, like the constant just approach was something that was that I looked at like, oh, wow, this person's very supportive of me. I'm having pretty intimate conversations with them on a platonic friendship level, but there's something brewing here. Now, according to the narc, she was going to approach me if I didn't approach her eventually because she couldn't wait. But she was still in the grooming process because she had a lot of stuff going on. And I even remember her making comments on one of my shows, and I had called her very busy. And what I meant by very busy at the time, which I apologized, but I should have never apologized because I was very accurate. And that was a wake-up call for me at that time to be like, is this the type of woman that you want to be with? Somebody that's got a lot going on? Because it seemed like the questions that she was asking, that she had a lot going on, whether it be with one man or a few men. And I had made mention to that, but I wasn't paying attention. And I even wound up apologizing. Why? Because I'm a nice guy, just like you're a nice girl, right? And problem with that was that when I did approach her, in her mind, she was probably like, boom, got him. Now here's where the fun begins. Okay, this is where they're going to seduce you with flattery and a bunch of other good things where they're going to show you the best version of themselves that they could possibly show you to lure you in. And that's where it started because I approached this narc. And I remember when I approached them, it was a very long-winded approach. And then I finally just said, hey, I'd like to get to know you, blah, blah, blah. And they was like, yep, let's do it real quick. And from that point on, it went from those phone conversations to a FaceTime conversation. And I just remember that when I first started to get to know this narc just on a platonic level, where it was just kind of like business, professional, and very just like regimented to, hey, let me just have you provide information, or if you want advice from me, great. I'll have a discussion with you, but it's very platonic. It's not leading into anything that is romantic in conversation or flirtation or anything like that. And because of that level of respect, that's where it should have stayed. That's where I should have kept her. But everything happens for a reason. And I say that because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to do and know what I know now, especially when it comes to setting boundaries. I think that's one of the most important things for nice people that have big hearts, like myself and many of you that are listening to the show, is that you have to learn how to set boundaries, because if not, you just wind up becoming an enabler for somebody that's extremely toxic, somebody that is extremely self-centered. But moving along in my story here is to let you know that that's where I should have left it, but I didn't. And then what's interesting is, and this is what I've heard from the professionals, whether it be male or female, a lot of times, and it's usually the female narc that does this, they will try to seduce you sexually. And I never forget it, that the first time I had an actual FaceTime conversation with my narc is where the narc literally showed me little by little their breast. And I remember questioning this behavior. And of course, they had a whole elaborate story of why they were doing this. So what did I do? Being the nice guy, I let it slide. And because I let it slide, it wound up becoming a very consistent behavior. And then the behavior went from showing, breasts to showing the buttocks to showing the vagina and all of that, little by little, little incremental steps, because they're very systematic in what they do, people. And when they find somebody like you that's the nice woman or the nice guy, they're going to do it in a very systematic way to make you feel more comfortable with the seduction, because they make you feel privy that this seduction that you're getting is something that they've never done before. It's something that you're just bringing this passion, which is really just a disgusting, lustful approach, a cardinal approach. But they reel you into thinking that, hey, this is because of you. You're so damn sexy that you just bring this out of me. And it's such a bunch of bullshit, people. I'm going to tell you right now, it's such a bunch of bullshit. But you being the nice person, you're going to fall victim to this, because you're already getting these sessions of first impressions from them that are so wonderful. So you being the nice person, you're just like, okay, I'm going to go along with this. And you start thinking that you have exclusivity to this type of intimacy, but you really don't. This is just another tactic of the narc. So with my situation going the way it did, let's fast forward now. Let's take it to where now I already know I'm dealing with somebody that's extremely toxic. I've already experienced a bunch of gaslighting. I've experienced abuse. I've been betrayed. I've been cheated on at this point. I've been everything that the narc does that's bad. I've been invalidated. I've been made to look crazy. I've been made to look like I'm something I'm not. And at this whole entire time, while I'm going through this, I'm still a nice guy. I'm still peaceful. I'm still loving, right? Because that's the intentions I came in with. Just like many of you, that's who you are. You're not coming in with an agenda. You're coming in to build something to remember, something to that's meaningful. So what's interesting is that when it comes to the narc, whether they leave you or like I did, like I left them, they usually what happens is they'll go back to the ex. And what I find interesting about her ex is that he was always in the picture. He never really left. This person wanted to talk to me. And she, my narc gave me a whole sob story over the phone, which sometimes I wonder if she was really crying, but she did this whole act to make it seem like this man is trying to break us up because he knows that I'm talking to you and stuff. Now, in reality, I know in my particular situation with her ex, he's narcissistic too, just because some of the things he did. And he's never really went nowhere. I think she was just playing that narc game of kind of diminishing one energy supply and going to the next, and then having that energy supply still linger. Because with the thing with the narcissist people, you have to understand, whether it be male or female, they're always going to keep energy supplies around that they can keep around. And a lot of times the energy supplies that they have keeping around is because the other person is somewhat narcissistic as well. And I can bet my bottom dollar that this ex-dude is definitely a narc. I could tell by him actually going on another podcast to talk about her at the time I went to go visit her in New Orleans. Yes, it became public on social media. So a lot of people jumped on this to gaslight and do the whole tribal gaslighting thing, right? But then you have to look at it from this perspective. I'm still a good guy at this point. But what I'm realizing is, oh man, I've never experienced anything like this before. This is fuckery 2.0 at this point. But I am realizing that this situation is not good for me. Now, eventually, from me deciding to not be with this person, they already had the narc supply of the ex there. And usually what winds up happening, they'll either go to the ex or they'll go to somebody that really doesn't have any morals or standards. And just like, hey, if you want to fuck, let's fuck. And I'm good with just doing that. And whatever else you do is none of my business or whatever. I'm just going to get what I can get, right? And they'll go to that. Or they'll have a new energy supply that they've been grooming and they'll stick to that and go back to the ex. And I think in my situation, I think that's actually what's happening right now. She's she's, dealing with her ex, but's got some new energy supply that she's been grooming. And I'm assuming it's a young person, but for all I know, it could be an older person. I don't know. But if I was to put my money on it, I would say it's a very much younger person. And when they do this type of stuff, people like my narc is currently doing right now, is that they really, they know that you are the good person too. And they know that they had something good on their hands. But at the same time, they don't care. It's not like, don't think that they're going to be thinking about you like that, because they're not. Why? Because they're putting their energy into the old narcissistic supply, which is usually the ex, and then some new grooming that they got going on. Or they'll just deal with the ex until whatever. And I, as I've been studying this, I know this, and looking back at the movie reel, right, that I was in my own Truman Show, is that you realize that these things are something that you can avoid moving forward if you've been properly healed and understand things for what they are. And I can tell you that I am. Does it still sting me to know that I went through? Yeah, because of that embarrassment of being like, why didn't I catch it? It takes a little while to get over that. But at the end of the day, once you truly love yourself and you have a love, and I this is from my personal experience, my love for the Most High, and that the blessings and the favor that the Most High gives me every day, it's like it would be stupid of me to get caught up in the pain. The pain has already subsided. That's why I'm able to do these type of shows, because I want people to understand, like, hey, this shit is real. And not everybody is as fortunate as I am. And I really want to reach out to the people that haven't been fortunate as I am to leave so quickly and to kind of just dead things. Because see, one of the big things for me is that you deal with a lot of the invalidation and the temper tantrums like little children that they go through and stuff. But for somebody like me, once I know you're a hoe, like if I'm dating you and I know you're a hoe, or if I'm with you and I find out that you're just a dirty slut, you know what I'm saying? Like that to me is like, it's the deal breaker of deal breakers, because it's like, you are a slut. Same thing with a guy. If a guy's a whole woman, you just got to be like, do you really want to go through that? Do you really want to be with somebody like that? Because I could tell you with certain, I have a certain, I have certain leeway where I feel like certain people can change and can grow out of certain deficiencies and dysfunctions. But when somebody is a hoe, it's like, that's a dysfunction that I don't want no part of. I don't want to wait to see what's going to happen with that. It's like, we're done. You know what I mean? And the situation that I was in, you have to understand that not everybody gets to leave, but I could have easily stayed if I would have kept giving benefit of the doubt. That's another thing with us nice people, is we have to stop giving the benefit of the doubt. And I'm also grateful because it took a narc to put all of this in motion. But I also attribute that to the Most High. The Most High was working a lot in a lot of the things that have happened in the last several months, for the point that I left this narc. And I'm so grateful for that, because if I didn't, oh boy, no telling. I mean, no telling where this show would be, if it even would be in existence, moving forward. No telling if I would have been dead. No telling if I would have been in jail, because I could guarantee you that those types of situations could have definitely happened to somebody like me. Because I dealt with anger before. I used to have to go to anger management and all that stuff. Anger was a big problem for me growing up. I was angry about my father not being there for me. I was angry about my mom, who was a narc, being, very neglectful to me and always up my stepfather's ass. So I always had all this anger, being the youngest. And I mean, I could tell you a lot of things that I was angry about, and it's something that's part of the old self when it comes to me, that old man that I had to bury, that sometimes sticks his hands out and his arms out of the grave and tries to pop back out again. I can tell you that old man had dealt with a lot of anger. And I can tell you that me personally, if I would have stayed with this narc and wound up living with them, that anger would have led to some very tragic circumstances. I know that for a fact. That's why I give all my praise to the Most High that we didn't even go there. that I was able to leave before we even got to those points because somebody would have died. Plain and simple. Somebody would have got killed. Could have been me, could have been another person, which is the third party of the triangulation that they always got involved when they're dealing with you, or it could have been the narc. And all praise to the Most High that we're all going to be able to live our lives. And, those people are going to be able to go live their lives in the very toxic way that they have. And I'm going to go live my life in the most righteous way possible through the grace of the Most High. And I say this to you, brothers and sisters, because this is a matter of life and death. Don't think that just because, your narc is, hasn't done anything, or you're thinking it's not as bad as it can be, or it could be with other people. Don't think that you can't be in a circumstance like that. You can avoid it, then do so. So going back to the movie reel, what I'm realizing is that the thing with the narc is that they really don't care about you, but they understand the significance of what you possessed and what you presented and the possibility of what they can have if they was a different person. But the reality is, because they're so narcissistic and so proud, it's that very pride that winds up being their karma. And I can tell you that with my narc, I know that as of right now, because of the narcissistic supply she already had in place and the one that she's grooming, that she's probably not even listening to these shows anymore, because she was an avid listener. And she's probably not even listening to the shows anymore, which I say, great. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, whatever floats her boat. But she's probably not listening to the shows anymore, because with the narc, it's like they have to be whatever narcissistic supply, especially if it's an old supply that really never left, like what she had. She now has to redefine that particular relationship and the way it goes. And having any type of attention to the old supply, now being me, that was once new, is kind of like a red flag in the way that they operate. So they can't really show that. And I could tell you right now that I'm probably not going to experience any hoovering from her either, like many of you. Now let's talk about that hoovering that I won't be experiencing, but many of you have and will, is where they will come back into your life because they feel like there's still a way to manipulate and make you feel like they're one of the best things that ever happened to you. For my situation, that's not going to happen because I pretty much, obviously through my show and also through my personal life, I've already pretty much made that known that that's not going to happen. I'm not going to be looking at this narc like they're the best thing that happened to me. They're one of the worst things that happened to me, but in the best way, if that makes any sense. And I truly mean that, people. I mean, really, one of the worst things that's ever happened to me is getting to know this woman, but it's one of the best things that's happened for me because it made me realize that I could still be that good person. I could still be the person with empathy, but I have to do it with healthy boundaries so that when I do come across another good person, another good woman, right? A good woman that's gonna truly love and see me and see the light within my eyes and see me for who I am and embrace me as that person, I can fully be immersed in that. And Lord willing, all praise to the Most High that does happen for me. Either way, though, I'm good with who I am right now, meaning that I'm a pretty fucking phenomenal person. I'm not going to let some person that's damaged goods make me think any lesser than what I was bringing to the table in the first place. And I say that to you because that's one of the biggest things, brothers and sisters, when you're dealing with this narcissistic abuse. If you're in that place right now, or you're heading into that place or was, you understand where I'm coming from. And if you don't, embrace who you are because you didn't do nothing wrong. You are a good person. And that whole saying about nice guys finish last, there's certain truth to that, but not really, because yeah, it may seem like we're finishing last, but we're really winners because we're not going to allow other people, other spiritual beings dictate the very love and empathy that the Most High blessed us with. And all praise for that, because honestly, people, you have to understand that you didn't do anything wrong and that there's so much more beauty to who you are that you haven't even discovered yet. Whoa! That's coming from the spirit, brothers and sisters. I got to tell you, it feels great to know this. And the reason why I share, not in detail, but about as detailed as I could possibly get about my personal experiences is because this has been such a great education for me. And if it can be a great education for you, then so be it. It's time for us to be aware and prepared. That's what the network of awareness is all about. We have to expose these liars and we have to expose the lies. And there's no better liar and a person that lives a lie in their everyday daily life than a narc. And I can tell you that the signs are always going to be there because they are premeditated backstabbers, people. This person, this narc that I was with, was premeditating, backstabbing me from the first time I spoke to them on the phone, from the first time I face chat with them on FaceTime, from the first time I embraced them and hugged them in person and kissed them, which we all know that was a horrible experience for me, kissing. But from those very beginnings, there was always this intention, like, I'm going to get this motherfucker and I am going to fucking turn his world upside down to serve every cardinal selfish desire that I have in my entire spirit, in my mind, and everything I got. Okay? That's how they're approaching you, people. And that's why you can't feel sorry for them. You really can't. Because feeling sorry for them is kind of like, what's the point? You have to start feeling like, I'm just glad that is over. Or if it's not, figuring out how to get out of it. Because listen, I'm just going to be honest here. I always say this. Some of you, it's going to be a lot harder than it was for me. And the reason being is because some of you are married to these people. Some of you have kids with these people. Some of you have been in relationships with these types of people for over 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 15, 30, 40. All right? But it's never too late because all you're denying yourself is the true joy and happiness that was meant for your specific life, not for anybody else's, just you. And once you do that, that's the life that you get to live, because when you're entangled with these types of people, you're not living, you're surviving. You are literally treading water. You literally are treading water to where just where your lip starts, your bottom lip starts, is where the water is sitting. And if you go any lower, you can drown. That's what it's like to be with these types of people. And this is why I'm doing these types of shows like the Narcissism series, because I want you brothers and sisters to not tread water anymore, but I want you to swim to the fucking land and to swim to shore and never fucking look back at that sea. Go to another water. Or don't go into the water at all because it's treacherous, right, people? These people ain't worth your time. These people ain't worth having. They don't deserve to have somebody like you in their life. These are ratchet, pathetic, disgusting, deplorable human beings. That's all that they are. And like Dr. Romney says, that she feels like they should just all congregate amongst each other, which to a certain degree, I could tell you that my narc is, because now she's back with the X energy supply. All right. They're living the Viva Loca right now. All power to those toxic individuals. But I can tell you this is that don't allow that energy to dictate what you have presently in your future. And if you're still with these, and that's going for the people that they left, because usually they leave you and you start feeling all these types of feelings. That's why narcissism is such a big topic right now that a lot of people are investing a lot of therapy hours into, because it's so toxic. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. So remember, these types of people, brothers and sisters, are the premeditated backstabbers. That's all that they are. And we have to take a stance as a good person to be like, hey, there's some things that I need to touch up on. There's some things that I need to fix, like setting boundaries. so that this doesn't happen to me again. And now you can spot them out, right? We can spot these people out from a mile away now. Because to go, I'm going to tell you like this. If you go from one narc to another narc, there's something wrong with you. Then you're just not paying attention. You're not listening to yourself. You're not listening to your higher self. And you're just a glutton for punishment. And anything you get from the narc is probably because you deserve it at that point. Because once you know better, it's like you can't get caught up in again. And if you do, because we're not perfect, right? I mean, we are empathetic individuals. We got big hearts. But if you get caught up in something like that again, understand that you have to put an end to it. Okay, you're like, wait a second. Hate a second. You got to say, hate a second. But wait a second. I think that this is narcissistic behavior, and I'm going to cut the cord right here. That's what you do. You don't give no more benefits to the doubts, because those doubts will have you suffering a whole new narcissistic abusive experience. And it's going to be far greater than the first one because you didn't listen the first time. But understand this. These are some of the closing statements I'm going to say in regards to this topic, people. Comes to the premeditated backstabber, is that when you're dealing with these people, and once you leave or once they leave you, cut them off. Don't allow them to come back into your life. And if they do come back into your life, cut it. Cut it right there. Don't even entertain it, because that's the hoovering process. That's where they think that there's somewhere still in your heart that they're the best thing that ever happened to you, and they want to make you believe that. And now that you've had time to be by yourself and not have them around, you're going to appreciate them that much more. There's ever been a crock of bullshit, it's that. They're not. They're probably one of the most toxic people that you could have had in your life, and count your blessings that if they left you, that's a good thing. And if you left them, you are a unicorn in this field of romantic relationships, intimate relationships, because most of the time we don't leave. Most of the times we stick around until they get tired of us. And I could tell you that I was not going to go through that. And I think it's because one of the saving graces for me is that I was single so much for so long that I really got to love myself and understand myself. Not fully, right? Obviously, because I didn't learn how to set boundaries because I'm such a nice guy. And I'm okay with that, man. I'm gonna wear that like a badge of honor, being a nice guy. I like the fact that the Most High has given me an abundance of empathy and charity. And I perform that charity pretty well. And I'm only going to get better at it. All praises. Because that's who I am. That's how the Most High made me to be. And I'd be damned if I give up my charity and my good nature for some damn toxic narc. Not happening. Right? The Most High always comes first. And when I got with this narc, we was in agreement that the Most High came first. See, the problem was she forgot that because she never had intentions on putting the Most High first. She was putting herself first. But I did. That's why the Most High looked out for me. And let's give a round of freaking applause for that, because all praises to the Most High. That as I'm doing this episode, people, I have to tell you that just me realizing that right now is very fulfilling. I put the Most High first in our relationship, and that's why the Most High got me out of there and looked out for me, because that could have got very toxic. Ooh, I tell you, people, wonderful. So with that being said, just understand that when it comes to dealing with the narcissist, the premeditated backstabber, they never loved you, people. They never cared about you. It's always about them. And us being the good people, the nice person, okay, we have to come to terms with that no matter what. The faster you come with terms that you're just a nice person that got taken advantage of, to teach you on how not to get taken advantage of, the better off you're going to be. And the best thing that can happen to you is that the narcissist completely disappears from your life for good, which in my case, I believe that's what's happened, and all praise to the Most High, because I could tell you that there's no way in hell that I would allow, not even just my past narc, but any narc for the future to come in. And if they do wind up sneaking their, slithering in somehow, some way, under the fence or whatever, I'll be able to identify them, guaranteed. And I pray and hope that you do the same for your own sake. So, with that being said, brothers and sisters, let's end this show, and I'm going to play some music, right? And, of course, we got to play some of this independent spiritual music. So, brothers and sisters, when you live in the present, right? November 1st, baby. It's a Tuesday, tightrope Tuesday. Walk that tightrope like you never have before. Maintain balance. So important in the days and times that we're in. Live in the present, because there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. Start the new beginning of your life without the narc. Start the new beginning letting the narc know that they gets no more play here. That playtime is over, baby. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, brothers and sisters, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. This is Aura the Informationalist, saying peace, love, and light, and all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yah Elohim, that which is our great creator of that which is and always will be. All praises, brothers and sisters. Let's get into this music, shall we?
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness.
This how I felt since you. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly, yeah.
See, this how I felt since a youngin'. Before the kids and the thuggin'. Women be frontin', they use us. You ain't got it, they on to the next who got it. Looking for profit is pitiful, but the sea full of suckers is plentiful. How much money you making is critical. These women deceiving is biblical. So how do I play my part as a man in the sea with the greatest sharks? I don't know, I adapt, hunting them like they hunting us. Live it up, always out for that bigger buck. Switch it up, cause you never know, but you better know most of they lust for the devil, bro. Women's love can be bought with materials. Another one they won't play on the radio.
This how I felt since you. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly. This how I felt since you. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly.
Let's fall in love later, make this money and moves, build an empire, put this money to use. Yeah, there'll be wars, that's the moment of truth, but I'll ride or die to spend moments with you. There's nothing I wouldn't give, wouldn't do, girl, it's much higher. See, in my point of view, see, I burn for you, keep you warm in the nude, it's a sweet deal. You got nothing to lose, so go tell your friends that it's him again. Here with them gangsters and gentlemen. All other guys are irrelevant. Locked in this room and you don't even notice the elephant. Shit. Girl, are you blind? Cause I'm right here. Never gone, never left. It is quite clear. Cause all eyes on you with a tight stare. This could be a dream come true or a nightmare.
This This how I felt since a youth. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly. This how I felt since a youth. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly, yeah. Mind away, drama phase. Acknowledge me, honestly.
In the mix. 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 In the mix.
Righteous will do his will to the end. Yeah, the righteous will keeping faith till the end. Yeah, the righteous will. He that's righteous, let him stay righteous still. Only those with the ear will listen. Getting 1/3 is the only mission. If they don't wanna listen, let a fool stay a fool. Pretty soon they gon' wish that they paid attention. Cause God's coming swiftly. Just around the corner you can hear gunshots popping off. People losing their wits be. Soon the USA, aka Babylon, will crash and fall. Much harder than the Twin Towers. 400 years of power for the Gentiles. Felt like eternity, but to y'all it was 10 hours. We about to get out of this island of sick power. 1/3 will prevail, 2/3 will get devoured.
For the longest time I've tried to wake up my folks, but now I realize their eyes were meant to be closed. So I gotta leave them alone.
I'm just saying,
just leave them alone.
You can't save them.
You can't save the world. You just need to leave them alone.
His soul has some good, I saw it in his eyes. He actually can cure it when I spoke about Yah. For a second I thought perhaps I could make a difference. You can show the horse the water, but you can't make him sip it. It's got me reminiscing when I first came into truth. Thought I was better than folks because of what I knew. But after refinement, trials, and maturity, I've realized that I'm no better than he or she. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, how much dollars you have. As long as you have Yah, everything will make sense. No need to get mad or pissed when the people you know hates the truth you spit. Cause the end is near, Yah's close and near. Adrenaline is rising high, citizens in fear. The truth isn't for everyone, no matter what you show. Just focus on Yah, he's the only way to go.
For the longest time I've tried to wake up my folks, but now I realize their eyes were meant to be closed. So I gotta leave them alone.
I'm just saying,
just leave them alone.
You can't save them.
You can't save the world. You just need to leave them alone.
In the mix. 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 In the mix.
Low kick.
They know I got the 9 on me.
Yeah, you know I got the 9 on me.
It's time to ride or die, homie.
Yeah, it's time to ride or die, homie.
Man, this how we survive, homie.
Yeah, this how we survive, homie.
That's why I keep the 9 on me.
Yeah, you know I got the 9 on me.
This word is words for the wise. Either ride or you gon' die. It's the blind leading the blind. We've been fighting for our rights. Now we fighting for our life. Still no light I see inside, but I see the light inside and pray I don't go out my mind. I got a 9 in my hand and a couple of bullets. All I need is a reason for me to load it and pull it. There goes one in the shoulder, another one in the leg. Gotta finish the job and put another one in his head. I was told it's him or me. I'ma live to see another day. Killer do the killing, I don't see it any other way. People do the talking, I don't care what motherfuckers say. Keep your social distance or you getting blown the fuck away. No more Mr. Nice Guy, gotta be the bad boy. I'm on high alert, I got all of you niggas paranoid. I'm way too much at peace for you to ever bother mine. That's the bottom line, cause we all live in them all time. The 9 on me.
Yeah, you know I got the 9 on me.
It's time to ride or die, homie.
Yeah, it's time to ride or die, homie.
Man, this how we survive, homie.
Yeah, this how we survive, homie.
That's why I keep the 9 on me.
Yeah, you know I got the 9 on me. Do or die till I die, homie. I leave a nigga paralyzed, homie. What you know about the 9 on me? With that 45, feel like plies, homie. I look up at the sky like I'm the guy, homie. Doubt I'm grinding off the muscle you supply for me. What you know about your bestie trying to ride on you? I ain't never tell, bitch, I define loyal. That type of other shit just make my blood boil you. How you hate me after all the shit I done for you? Now I'm forced to get my head right, but that's kinda hard when you to dodge death twice. Respect life, but this ain't a show, I'm dead nice. I'm the one that could bring us to the next fight. Shed light over everything bad, I'm the one with a gun, it's a tech bite. Blah.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Here we are, back again, about to drop some facts again. Yahweh's word spreads like a vicious net for capturing those with an ear to listen, those who paid attention, those who stand bold like a soldier with their convictions, not quick to fold or throw in the towel when under pressure. They walk it like they talk it, they live the message, but depression's what most folks are facing. They got the vaccination, we in zombie land, pretty soon we gon' have to dance. Better keep that sword in your body, fam, cause this far from the game, Babylon will burn down in flames. Some deaths are better off real slow, so you can witness the pain. You tortured slaves, 400 plus years of pain, hung brothers up in the trees, swinging for days and days. Now this is your end of days, you looking so disarrayed. Try to cover your ears, but the truth still gon' penetrate. The hatred is strong, but races still want to imitate and integrate. Only Yahweh's chosen holy nation can ever be this great.
Yahweh's amazing. Before I eat, I'm saying my graces. I pray for knowledge and wisdom and peace. We dwell in greatness. 144,000 frequencies and vibrations. So don't give me amp. Go take a hike and camp like concentrations. Pull up my pants and send my genes to elevate genetics. I'm concentrating, no recess to dominate recessives. No car insurance, the way I swerve, baby, like impressive. Stephanie Courtney know my flow is looking more progressive. My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like Aura, the informationalist. Shout out my brother, take one. All these chances in life, don't hesitate and wait to take one. We are the true Jews, about to take off. Hitler knows we don't play soft. I pull up and let like 8 off. Watch a demon head splatter, give me back my platter that y'all just ate off.
Yo, remember what we talked about building something special as 1/3? Well, I feel like we're finally here. A righteous Wall Street, bro. Yes, sir, let's get it.
All praise to the Most High, this is only the beginning. Righteously preparing, raising our awareness. The social engineering, just faithful forbearing. Salute to those faith in it, kings and queens creating it. That's people awakening, 2/3 be forsaking him. 1/3 keeps on praising him, putting all my faith in him. Most people be faking it, munching on some bacon bits. Ignorance remains in bliss. In this life I came to win. Righteousness I'm living in. Truth is the enlightenment. Yahweh's the embodiment of peace and redefinement. Elohim is in the science, go grown out for lions. Raising the horizons, frequency just heightens. Spirit always
Yeah, we ready for war. Moving on one accord. Brethren at my side. We just gotta endure. Taking my thoughts and bringing to Christ. Throwing down imaginations. I'm just trying to stay patient. Stand fast, can't wait. Yeah, we ready for war. Moving on one accord. Brethren at my side. We just gotta endure. Dodging demons like the Matrix. I'm just trying to go home. Swore made it that truth. So I just gotta move on. Ready for war, ready for death if it go like that. So if I die, I pray that I die for the most High God. I can't turn around, I can't look back, so it's all out war. I'm seeing the path so narrow, careful to not fall. Get up for it's too late. Sun come with a blaze with a judgment. In that day won't see where the sun went all black like sackcloth and the moon blood. This is a warning to go and repent. This is a warning to seek out the Lamb. This is the point where you go and examine. Gotta stay patient, I'm looking inside. Trust the Most High with all of my life. I love all my brothers, we suffer with Christ. When it feel like death, just know that it's life. Don't give up, Christ pay that price. Don't give up, Christ pay that price. Yeah, we ready for war. Moving on one accord. Brethren at my side. We just gotta endure. Taking my thoughts and bringing to Christ. Throwing down imaginations. I'm just trying to stay patient. Stand fast, can't wait. Yeah, we ready for war. Moving on one accord. Brethren at my side. We just gotta endure. Dodging demons like the Matrix. I'm just trying to go home. Swore made it that truth. So I just gotta move on.
This concludes the Network of Awareness podcast. For more information on the Network of Awareness, please subscribe via email to our website, networkofawareness.com, and follow us on Spreaker.com or any other listening apps you use. For any questions about the NOA, email us at aura@networkofawareness.com. Thank you for listening to one of the fastest growing podcast shows on society and culture in America and abroad. When you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. Peace and blessings.